I'm a little late from the original time I said I was going to upload today. I have just woke up from a delicious nap. I also call my delicious naps a spiritual siesta. So, oh, I am absolutely exhausted. I had a carb nap too. I went out with a couple of people I met out here for pizza, and it was absolutely delicious. So, it is chilly right now in the desert, hence why I'm under my blanket. Normally, I'm at Denny's this time writing, but I did not want to write tonight because I had spent a bunch of time and energy on some details in the van. So I got some things taken care of with that. I'm really excited about. And now we're just, like I said, we're just touching base, saying hello to all you viewers out there that are awake. And if you're not awake and you're looking at this tomorrow or Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, I'm sort of awake. And actually, right now, I'm at the job that I'm working at while I'm out here in Arizona, just relaxing in the front parking lot. I asked my boss for permission, and she was like, "Yeah, you're good. Go ahead and chill out." I was like, "I'm gonna loiter until I get some Uber orders," and then it ended up falling asleep. So here's some tips and tricks for all you van lifers out there that want to hit the road and do the road life. I would say first and foremost, when you do your lighting, consider that it is electrical, and anything that you do electrical has a chance of starting on fire. So the rule of thumb for me is less is more. I use this little band for lighting that has a USB outlet you can plug right into. Oh, sorry about that. That you can plug right into a magnet. I'm sorry. You can plug right into whatever you use for electricity, which I use. Going to be using a solar generator, which I'm picking up next week. That'll have an upload about. And the great thing about these is they're really convenient. They're only $15. You can get them at Walmart, and they're magnets. So you use a little glued strip or an adhesive strip and put it wherever you want, and then you stick the magnet on top of that. And it's convenient. There's less wiring involved, which means there's going to be a lot less chance of a fire starting. Now, some of you are probably thinking, "Oh, well, what's the chance of a fire starting?" All you got to do is go and look up people who've done the van life on YouTube, whose homes started on fire as a result of using wiring inside of their build or their bus build or van build or whatever. So, and it's a lot. You need an inverter, you need panels, you need a battery, and that's just to be able to hook up everything. So just be warned, if you do electric with wiring, there's a chance things could start on fire. So consider that with your lighting. I would say another tip and trick that I personally do is whenever you're going to have food in your build, don't have the food unless it's canned. And the reason I say that is if you have anything a little critter could get into, like an ant, or God forbid, if like a roach gets in your vehicle, you're definitely going to be in trouble then. Anything at all that can attract has a scent can or is sweet, anything can attract bugs and insects. So if you're going to do food, I would only have and store canned foods inside of your van build. I don't I don't do anything with canned foods in the vehicle. I go out and eat all the time at like Walmart. I just get my food and go. I get vegetables and lately I've been eating out. That crap's gonna stop today. I decided I got pizza and I was like, no more. From now on, I'm going back to my regular diet, which is like kale, fish, um, bagged meatballs, which you can get from Walmart, are delicious. Rotisserie chickens you can get from did I say Meat Mart? No, Walmart. That's what I meant. Um, things that stuff like that. That's what I stick with, and I'll do like a loaf of bread. But the loaf of bread that I get are the French baguettes, so they're really thin and they're freshly made. And Dr. Sigma, what's going on, man? Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, and then peanut butter. Peanut butter is my best friend when it comes to foods to eat right away. And then I fill up with water and I just drink the water as I go. I do a lot of coffee. I got instant coffee, things like that. So, oh, Dr. Sigma, appreciate the subscription, man. One at a time, we're building and going, and the thumbs up. Really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. And okay, so that's kind of a tip and trick on food. Here's another tip and trick when you're doing your build. If you do things, I will answer your question in 2 seconds. Those lights don't bother you. Well, no. So I'll answer those questions in 2 seconds. I'm going to go. Actually, no, I'll answer them now. How's your day? My day is good. The lights do not bother me. No. Oh man, I hit the light button to where it made it warm. So normally these go up. This goes up here, and boom, right there. But because I'm doing this, I'm do up. All right, there we go. No, it don't bother me because I'm doing the live feed. So the next question was, my day is good, but can you touch your toes and spell? Yeah, actually, yeah, I do yoga, so I could definitely touch my toes. Oh, I'm definitely chilling, man. Definitely chilling. So the next tip and trick, if you're going to do any type of a van build or a bus build or anything, absolutely you can have a shout out. Shout out to Elijah's channel. Shout out to Elijah. What's up, playa? Absolutely. That's my kitchen table right there. It's rock. And I just fold the seat forward and it's stone. I feel like I'm in the 1600s. That's what I love about it. Anyhow, whenever you're doing a van build, one of the things you want to do is you want to make everything long, up and down, long. So if you want to make the build look bigger, what you want to do is make everything go up and down. So like right there, I have the build going. Oh man, I have the build going. Oh my gosh, why did I do that? So I have the build going up on everything. Everything goes up, and then across, and then down. And that makes it so you get a... Shelly, you can absolutely have a shout out. Woo! Shout out! That makes it so everything looks bigger when you go inside. And then obviously white. So I bought some white paint a couple days ago. I'm going to be doing a how-to on the channel with the white on the walls, and the ceiling I'm going to keep it wood just to kind of give it some texture. And then I have I don't know what it's called. I picked it up at Home Depot today. It's I know the name of it. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. It's like, it's not quarter round. It's a lot thicker than quarter round, and it goes from the walls to the ceiling, and it'll make it look more decorative on the inside where the ceilings and the walls meet. And then I'm going to paint the walls white to give it a little bit more width inside the place, a little more feng shui. That way, when I'm laying down relaxing in my build, I can just look and it feels like it's bigger than it actually is. So it'll be nice, you know. How old am I? I am 44. I know you're probably thinking, oh, he's having a midlife crisis. And that's to assume that like midlife is something that happens because nobody really knows how long they're going to live. Uh, Scarlett Parker. Yeah, people say I look like I'm in my early 30s. I get that a lot, but I don't care. Everybody looks old eventually. If they're lucky, they get a chance to look old. But I'll tell you what, I am excited. I am excited for going to Florida. That I am really looking forward to. I can't wait until I get a chance to swim in the ocean and swim in the springs. I'm really looking forward to it. So, another thing, you know what? I have a feeling that I did not put, man, I really want to make sure that I did this right when I uploaded it, and I think I did not. And the reason I know I did not is because of some of the comments. I'm like, generally when those type of comments, certain comments pop up, that's how you know, like, you did something wrong. Like as far as like what comments filter out and what don't. So I just want to give everybody the heads up. Like I oh, how do I Frank Johnson, how do I keep warm? So if you go and check out if you subscribe to the channel and you check out how to insulate your van build, I did double the insulation in this thing. So I think it's how to it just says how to insulate. I'm not sure what episode it is. It's either 6 or 7 or 8, I'm not sure. But the very first how to for the van build, I definitely like show how to insulate. And if I were to go and on turn on my vehicle right now and put the heater on and leave it running for like, let's say 10 minutes, the inside of this thing stays warm for an hour. So wherever I'm at, if it's cold, like I will stay warm. And then now with the heat, I haven't been in a position to where it's so hot that like I can't bear it, but I would just turn my air conditioning on same way. It takes at least an hour for this thing to lose cool and lose heat. And it actually loses heat faster than it loses the cold is one thing I did notice because when I was building this in the summer, I would turn the air conditioning on and drive around and then come back an hour later and go in the vehicle and it was still cool. So I have double the insulation. I have styrofoam and like speaker insulation in it, and I glued it all around the metal. Then I glued foam on top of the speaker insulation, and then I put the walls on top of there. And believe it or not, I think the way I designed the ceiling, because of how it goes down and then up again, because I did my shelvings behind the walls and behind and under and above the ceiling is all the shelves. I put it 4 or 5 inches down and like 4 or 5 inches away from the build. So when I need to put my clothes away or put anything away, I put it behind the walls and in the ceiling. That way I have as much room as possible to kind of relax. And anyhow, I think the way I did that keeps it so it like created like this space and this influx to where you stay warm and cold for a pretty good period. I'm building an air conditioner. I'm working on a prototype for it right now. I can get up and show you. Oh, hold on. That's going to be one of the how-tos I do in about 2 months. So anybody that's doing the van life can create it. kind of from scratch. Oh. You know what? I put this thing away. Hold on. Anyhow, I can't find it right now, but I use a Peltier cooling system, and I'm creating an air conditioner for that. And I'll have how people can create a air conditioner for under $50 and build it. Use a diesel heater for your heat. Nice. You know what? I thought about doing that, but the thing I'm worried about is like the fumes of the diesel. I didn't want that in the vehicle. I don't know how that works. But like right now, if I were to go, like it's a little bit chilly, but I can bear with it. And the other thing is cool is, so I'm older and I got a bad hip and a bad back and I train constantly. And let it, what's up, bro? The mini splits for heat and cool. No, what is that and where is it at? Oh, it's got an exhaust pipe. So Frank, where is the exhaust pipe for the diesel heater? Like, the exhaust doesn't get in the vehicle. Like that was the one thing I was like worried about with using a diesel heater. That was why I didn't go with it. Now I am going to get like a little tiny mini heater to plug in, like a real small one. And I also thought about doing the same thing with the Peltier system, is like figure out a way to make like a little mini heater and go from there as far as that. Throw me any ideas or any suggestions. I'm open and willing to take them. So, um, hey, I saw there was a couple of, lead hit. You said troll be trolls and it's all engagement. Sometimes trolls think they're trolls, but they ain't on the level of a real troll. So I just want to say one thing, China Walk. You're an idiot. Because the only thing you can come up with is some stuff that you saw on the news that you might have heard from some moron on the internet. You're an unoriginal vagabond who has nothing better to do than go on the internet. And you clearly don't have a girlfriend, because if you had a girlfriend, you wouldn't be on the internet in the middle of the night. Loser. Don't you mess with a troll, because you get buried under the bridge. All right, so drill a hole and send it outside, gallon of diesel, and it will last 24 hours. So the only thing, that's a great idea, Frank. I couldn't agree more. My only fear about drilling the holes is like, so right now I'm in Arizona, and the last thing that I want is a black widow coming in the house. And that's why, like in Florida, they have, poisonous snakes. I mean, obviously they have them everywhere, but like they have like poisonous spiders, and you won't die from them, but like you can get infections and it can get necrotic and like all kinds of things like that. That's why I worry about any type of drilling like outside of the vehicle. So like, even though I use cedar for my framing and my wood to keep insects away, I just get worried about drilling holes. No, that's not like, I know there's netting and all those things, but I'll tell you, man, like I've heard about people having rattlesnakes go up in the engine in winters because it's warm, and they like figure out a way to stay in there. And this is no joke, man. I like was worried about something like that happening. There's one time I thought it was a mouse, right? And it was the size of a squirrel. And then it came, I kept hearing for months like scratching in my ceiling. And what I thought it was the metal was moving according to the weather. I'm like, oh, it's just the pressure. The atmospheric pressures are making the metal bend. And somebody agreed with me. They're like, oh yeah, that's totally normal. In cold weather, metal bends. I'm like, okay. So I'm hearing, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And then all of a sudden my electrical goes in my vehicle. I'm totally screwed. I'm like, what the hell happened, man? And then the one day I'm looking down, and this I thought it was a fucking big rat, climbs down in between my like, from where my electrical was and scurries out of the vehicle, and I was like, "Oh, what the fuck was that?" You know, I mean, it was the size of a squirrel, so that thing was eating good for however long it was up there, and it was scratching around and shit because the bus I had at that time was a 40-footer, and in between the ceiling and the actual ceiling where my head was this much metal. So it was living up there, and I had no idea. But, yeah, so that was crazy. But that was why I'm, like, super sketchy about drilling holes or anything like that. Like, I've drilled holes to put in the framing for my van build now, but, yeah. You know what? I've heard about people having that kinda stuff happen where they go and they look in a toilet and there's a snake in there. I've heard about that kinda stuff happening before. I believe it, man, but yeah. I, so I'm like semi worried. So I'm gonna do that, one of those little heaters you just plug in, but it's gonna be like one of those really tiny ones you can get for like 30 bucks. Cause the last thing I wanna do is keep something like that, you know. And again, like I never go to sleep with any hot or cold on. I've done a fan, but after seen all those builds where people's stuff started on fire, the last thing that I want to do is have anything stay on when I'm sleeping. Just because it's like I worked so hard for this van and you know, I got it for 25G and it's like crazy. Heated blanket that plugs into the cigarette lighter at Walmart. That's a great idea, but again, like if that thing starts fire, I'm screwed. And honestly, I mean, like I don't really the cold I I take cold showers every day. I lived in Ohio. I used to ice swim, you know, 2 to 3 times a week every winter for 5 to 10 minutes to keep my body acclimated to, like, not being miserable in the cold. So, like, I go to bed at night, like, I don't ever wake up, like, shivering or anything like that, and I never wake up and there's never frost on the inside of the window. Um, so, like, I'm pretty good about the cold. It's not anything that, like, that drives me crazy, and again, I don't mind, like, waking up a little bit cold because, 1, you burn a lot more calories, so you kinda, like, it's actually healthier for you, and then 2, it keeps down inflammation, and I take cold showers every day to try to keep everything, you know, not as in much pain as I am in. I have not experienced the heat since I've been staying in my van this run because I officially moved into it in September in Ohio, and then by the time I got to the West Coast, it was, mid-October. I ended up making it to Utah, so it wasn't like I was in a hot time of the year ever. Now, it's warm during the days in the desert, but it's not, like, blistering hot. It's not like where people go out and they stay out, like, for 20 minutes and they're like, "It's way too much. It's way too hot. I gotta get into the cool." Now, it gets like that in Florida where I'm going, and in the in the Florida area where I'm gonna be, which is, like, midway to the Keys and, midway to northern, Florida. I'm gonna be in that area, but again, yeah, perfect timing. I agree, man. I got pretty lucky. Well, I knew I had left before in September and went to the West Coast. It really is kinda different. It's like spring weather in Ohio, but, like, perfect. You know, it's perfect. So, plus I'm hiking the Grand Canyon. I'm gonna be doing that in 2.5 weeks. I'm finally in a place physically. Like, a couple days ago, I dragged a sled, which is part of the training that I do for hiking the canyon. I dragged it at high altitude for I wanna say, like, I believe 1 hour I did 2.5 miles up and down a hill, but I was wearing 2-pound boots on each foot, so it was a total of 4 pounds added to the so and when I left Ohio, I was doing 3 miles in 55 minutes up and down hills, a little over 3 miles, so and the sled that I was dragging was 35 pounds, and I would go and walk 3 more miles or 6 more miles, um, right after that, so I'm pretty confident I'm gonna be able to do my goal on the Grand Canyon, which is down and up on Bright Angel Trail, which is a total of 16 miles. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to kinda get my time like today, I'm getting up, right now where I'm at, it's 11:30. So after this feed, I'm gonna get some chocolate milk, and then I'm gonna pass back out till about 7, and then I'm gonna go likely go back to Adobe Jack Trail where I like the first big trail I hiked here. It wasn't a huge trail, or I'm gonna go to Cathedral Rock. I'm gonna hike up and down that all day because that Cathedral Rock is a nasty climb. And I'll go up and down that. I'll try to go for like 5 hours nonstop and see what my mileage is after that. Check out the springs of oh, dude, couldn't agree more. Love that. That's partly why I'm going back to Florida, is because those springs are magical. It's like you are transported into the tropics. It's absolutely amazing. Couldn't agree more, man. Love that you've had the opportunity to be there. I think Ginny, I have not been to the Ginny Springs or Rainbow. I'm gonna definitely Kai. I'm gonna definitely check that out. My favorite one was Blue Spring Falls. There was a manatee there, and it came right up to me, and it was like nibbling at my feet and like bumping into me, and you could just like the thing is so gentle and so kind. And I remember I was laughing so hard. And then I had my GoPro and I put my GoPro under the water and get video of this thing nibbling at my feet and bumping me. And they call them little sea cows. They're so heavenly. And this little guy got lost from its tribe and it stayed in the spring and never left. It would just stay there by the tourists. Maybe it thinks the tourists are its tribe. But yeah, and then it went towards my friend Mindy and she got scared. She's like, "Chris, this is a monster." I'm like, "It's fine. It's a sea cow. It's not gonna bother you. It loves you. Just let it go by you." And she was so freaked out. And she's like a big adrenaline junkie, but I had never seen anybody more freaked out. Yeah, it's crazy. The springs really are paradise. They really truly are. They're magical. But I heard so back in the 50s, there was a movie that got made. I don't know the name of the movie, but they used monkeys like on the set live, and they escaped and went and stayed in the springs. And what ended up happening was these monkeys ended up breeding, and now there's wild monkeys out at one of the springs in Florida. What's dangerous though is tourists try to go near them and touch them, and like these monkeys have a form of I can't remember what it is. It's like a skin thing, herpes. They have a form of herpes that is like has an 80% death rate. So if you get this on your skin, it's like a skin thing. Like you got an 80% chance of dying. And these monkeys just carry it naturally. And I don't know if it's because if they bite you and you get it or what, but like people would try to go near these things and they would bite them and they would get, they would be screwed up. So if you're ever in Florida and are in the springs and you see wild monkeys or little ones, do not try to touch them. Do not go near them. They got signs all over the place to leave them alone. For us Ohio people, Kai, it's warm in the winter and fall and nobody local there because, yep, that's true. Dude, it's so yeah, the monkeys, check it out. I don't know what spring it's in, but they're definitely there. Um, yeah, Ohio is not look, don't get me wrong, Ohio is nice in the spring and summer, like the end of spring, beginning of summer, and beginning of fall, and then it's 6 months of cold, gray hell. I couldn't do it anymore. So I don't know. My goal is to get a little piece of property in Florida because they have, I've talked about it on the live feeds before. They have, you can get like half an acreage or an acreage for, I don't know, $9,000 to $10,000. And then I want to build a mini home. But if it gets zoned as state property, there's a particular type, I think it's of recreation state property. You have to have a pass to stay on it and camp. I bought the pass. It's $15 a year. So if I run into that crap to where I can't stay on the property because they zone it as something that's not residential and it's zoned as state recreational, then I'm just going to stay on my in my van. I'll put a piece of concrete there. I'll dig it, and I know how to do cretes, so it's pretty simple. And I'll just put a crete pad there and then park my builds there and then go back to Ohio and work for 6 months with friends and then go back down to Florida with family and friends down there and just, back and forth. If I could, I would do Arizona all the time, but the problem is Arizona is 3,000 miles from Florida and 3,000 from Ohio. So like going back and forth there, it's 1,000 if Florida to Ohio. So that's not so bad. And again, now if I'm to a point where I can monetize my channel to make like money off affiliate marketing, which I'm, doing, if you go and check out my uploads, everything on there that I use to build stuff and that I'm going to use in the future to like point out that you can buy to make things for tips and tricks of doing the van life. All the description will have those. If I can make a little bit of money on those and just stay doing the van life through working online and then, obviously I'm trying to sell my screenplay that I've been working on for years and creative works and how-to videos, like, dude, that would be awesome. I'm not going to try to be that, $1 million successful YouTuber. Like I just, I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think it's feasible. I can make money off affiliate marketing and things of that nature. So I'm definitely going to try to keep pursuing that and monetize via that way. I got cousins in Arizona and Texas. Arizona is so cool. Yeah, yeah. Texas is pretty. I like Texas, but it's I don't know where I was. It was like too. I don't know. I just didn't get the vibe there. Every penny count. Oh yeah, ain't that the truth? I got to stop eating out. That's costing me way too much for my pennies. Way too many of my pennies. I mean, this week I'm working in Sedona. I got a job that I work at here, so that's helping me a little bit. But yeah, totally. All right. Well, listen, everybody. I've been going for a half hour now on my rant, and I'm about done. And I'm going to get some chocolate milk and get some sleep, and then I'm going to get up for hiking. So I will be on in a couple days. Appreciate the support from everybody. Talk to you later. Good night.